Good morning on this May 6th, 2025. I was just thinking about how for the most part I wake up happy and content. And if it's not happy and content in the moment, it won't be long before my consciousness regulates my mental state. And I was trying to pinpoint where that comes from, how I can maintain this contented way of being other than calling it some spiritual gift or spiritual input. In practical terms, what is it that helps me maintain this state of contentment? And I think it relates to, if I can use the word, availability. I am available to myself at all times. Availability. We depend on the availability of others so excessively. That it cannot always be met, right? Whether that be our best friends or family, co-workers, the availability is not always guaranteed. And when we are so dependent on someone else's availability, emotional availability, mental availability, or even physical availability, there's going to be a shortfall. There's going to be a break in the supply chain. And that's when we plunge into sadness, disappointment. So I think, in part, I have created my own availability in being connected to myself at every level. Emotionally, mental, intellectually, spiritually, and physically. I live in connected consciousness with myself. And that affords me availability at all times. I'm always available to myself. You know, in religion, they try to teach us that through relationship with God. Really, it's all about availability. The fact that the concept that God is always available. God is your supply, right? That's a similar concept, similar principle. We just outsourced it. That's an interesting word. Outsourced it to God. And that works until God is not available to you, right? I experienced the non-availability of God in my very human existence when my mother got sick with cancer and passed with cancer. Suddenly, God's availability was not present, and it left a gap. It left a huge gap in the supply chain, and it left me reeling, it left me insecure, it left me unsafe. And when you experience this gap in God availability, and don't gaslight yourself and say, well, maybe you're not understanding it correctly. It has nothing to do with understanding. This is where it's important to allow ourselves to feel that disappointment, to feel the abandonment, to feel the non-availability, to feel the God, where are you, right? So that is a broken availability, and that plunges our human nervous system into a state of non-safety, non-security, insecurity. And a lot of our sadness and depression comes from this feeling of insecurity, of not being able to feel safe. So I have created this availability, this uninterrupted availability through my Christ self, through my Christ consciousness, which truly is always available, because I have insourced it within myself, right? So it's no longer outsourced. It's no longer out there somewhere that, there can be an interruption in the communication. It is in me now. It is me. It's not only in me, it is me. And that is what establishes constant contact. Constant contact. Wasn't that some kind of a messenger app? I have constant contact and constant availability to my higher self. And my soul is always connected. And that is where this contentment, this satisfaction with life comes from. I am available to myself at all times, whereas you may not be. And of course, I cannot expect you to always be available, because you have important things to tend to. So that is how I manage my mental health, my balanced being, my stability, and my contentment, my happiness, my joy, right? You have to become your constant contact and your unbroken availability.